All right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to the second public meeting here on the trails discussion through the Township of Georgian Bluffs. My name is Steve Dahlmeyer. I'll be your host this evening for the next 2 hours to talk about trails and concerns and comments that we need to look at for the different user groups. Right now, the township is currently doing a study. We're looking at all the trails within the township, as there are 12 different user groups that use the township for different reasons for trails within the township limits. We have ATVs, we have snowmobiles, we have hiking, we have snowshoeing, we have other conservation trails within their network. We have the Bruce Trail network. There's just so many different trails networks within our township here, and this is why we're here having this public meeting, is just to get the feel of the comments and concerns that are currently going on right now, and then the public will have the chance to make comments and concerns as well. We do have surveys to be filled out online as well that can be found on the township website, along with some mapping as well. We do have 2 maps available within the chat group right now. It's for the ATV trails within the township, along with the other trails, walking trails, snow trails. All those are trails that have been mentioned earlier today. As people are coming in, I do apologize if I am repeating myself throughout the whole meeting. It is going to be kind of that rotation here. If you want to, feel free to ask us questions. You can ask us in the chat as we're kind of going through this process this evening on the meeting chat line there. So if you go to the bubble through the Microsoft Teams here, you can type your comments in there for us to answer any questions. Also, you can email us at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. That email is live for the next, as long as we're here for, and we'll be going through those comments as well. From the last meeting at the public meeting, we did have a lot of comments and concerns that were brought to our attention that we will be sitting down with the different user groups within the township once this public forum is completed, along with the survey, so that we can go over the comments together and come with a scenario how we can have all these active trails within our township be able to be used for recreational usages throughout the whole township and for years to come. One thing I'd just like to say too is I do want to say thank you to everybody who has provided us information on their trail systems. Information was then relayed into a GIS software here, which then allows us to create these big maps for everybody to view at their leisure throughout the time here. During this time, if you feel like you'd like to have a question or a concern, please raise your hand as well on the Microsoft Teams here, and I will go through that, and we will kind of go through and have that open discussion. There's not really much rules to these kind of forums. It's just allowing us to gather data so that we can help draft up a proper staff report and then present back to council at a later time for council to consider where all these trails are within the township. Currently, we have over 300 kilometers of trails within the trail network that we've just come to realize. So we'd like to kind of, say thank you to everybody for all the hard work they've done on these trails and what they've been used for over the years. At this time, I will open up the floor to if there's any comments or questions before we kind of go into some of our pieces of the education, but also the public awareness, and then also the enforcement component as well, and then also the NEC discussion as well. That is kind of streamlining how everything's going here. So if there's any questions, please feel free to ask at this moment in time while we continue to go through this process. Okay, so I don't see any email comments or concerns or questions coming through this chat, so we'll just kind of go through some motions here. So the public awareness campaign here is once we're done the survey, the online survey, along with the public forums through this process, we will sit down with the user groups, go through all the information with them to figure out what is the best route for trails within the township. Once that is done, we will be presenting it back to the public through another kind of public awareness campaign to show everybody what are the proposed trail routes are going to be within the township. We'll get public feedback once again through that process, and then we'll be presenting a report to council for their adoption of this process. We will also be adding and taking in consideration the trails and rec master plan that was done and adopted by council late last year. So that information that we did receive feedback on that portion will be included as well with the comments and the feedback from the survey into this process. So as we like to say again, the email is in the chat here at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. If you don't want to ask questions during the public forum here, you can email us at that time. Throughout the day, throughout this next 2 hours, we'll be looking at those emails, going through them too as well, and kind of bringing some stuff to light. Also, we do have the link up on the chat here as well for the two maps. I will be putting up the maps throughout the time here, just to kind of go over what we have found within the township. So at this time, I'm going to ask again if there's any questions before we kind of put the maps on the screen to kind of go through there. All right. As I don't see anybody with any questions at this time, we're going to share the screen here. We're going to put some mapping up on the screen here to show everybody what kind of routes are within this township so that we have an idea where we're going.
Is that Elaine? I thought that was Elaine that he was showing on the screen.
So at this time, if there's any questions, please feel to interrupt me at any time here. Right now, I've got the Niagara escarpment with walking trails on here. So I've basically, the township staff here have taken the GIS components of all the maps within the region. We do note that there are some errors and omissions on kind of overlaying the data here. So we are going to be sitting down with those user groups to confirm that this information can be relayed to the public and put onto a web portal the way we want to show it. A lot of questions on the whole component of what trails are with the NEC territory, what is the jurisdiction on the NEC. So there are some policies and procedures that NEC is actually enforcing these days through their process of their policy of what can be used and what permitted uses are within the NEC territory. So we're going to kind of zoom in here. I like to start at the top of the map and kind of work our way through, just so everybody's aware. So the pink lines are some of the trails within the network here. Green lines as well. Those are some walking trails throughout here. Bruce Trail and Gray Sauble trails are kind of overlapping each other, but it kind of gives everybody to show what's going on up there. NEC territory is within the hatched area of the township, so it does go through Georgian Bluffs quite a bit. So we're going to kind of go through this permitted. So walking trails are permitted throughout the whole NEC territory. And as you can see, they do kind of come across and along some of the roads and stuff within the township through some unopened right-of-ways, along some waterfront areas as well. We do have some conservation trails over here towards the southern portion of Wyerton kind of deal, some down in this area as well. We do also show the Cobble Beach trail system as well. Cobble Beach was able to provide us some information on all the trails within their little boundary there. So it's kind of nice to show them up on the screen. And then we also have some other trails over here along Shepherd Lake kind of deal. And then we have some other Conservation Authority trails coming up as well. This little spot outside of Hepworth, because Hepworth is here. This is the Nordic Ski Club trails within there, which allow for snow or cross-country skiing through the winter seasons. It is managed by them as well. As we continue on, we do have the rail trail that does go from Owens Sound to Parkhead. It does cut through Shallow Lake as well, as it keeps going through Ben Allen and across to the Parkhead location and continues on through Bruce County. As we continue on, you can see there's some more little trails going through the Brook subdivision area and tying into some more conservation authorities into this area. And then we come down. Once again, we do have more Conservation Authority trails mapped through here. And then we also have the Inglis Falls area here where the Gray Sauble trail system is through there as well. And then there's some other private trails that will be coming online in the near future here too. So this information, once again, was generated through the GIS software. And then we've overlaid as best we could they're not accurate to where they are, but they are kind of a close proximity to where the trails are within the system. All right, we'll be going on to the ATV map, which again, we'll start kind of give you a quick overview of the map we do have here. So ATV is permitted on Gray County roads. That is the yellow line. We do have some off-road little sections here that are within the NEC territory. We do have permitted use on the ATVs on the roadway as well as per the South Bruce ATV Club's mappings that they were able to provide to us. Rail trail as well is a multi-use trail for the ATV group as well. And then we have some roads as well that we kind of show as ATVs are there. The red lines are the provincial highways, and ATVs are not permitted on the provincial highways. So zooming in on the top end here, As you can see, you have Gray Road 1 here coming across the top along the water, and then you have the blue trail here, which is road segments throughout the township that the ATV group does fly by underneath the Highway Traffic Act within this area. And then there's a little bit of off-road areas here within on the outskirts of the NEC territory. A little piece there as well. And then we have some other spots in here. Once again, the rail trail from Owen Sound to Parkhead. And then we're going from here down, as we keep going here, Brook area, and then also the Derby area as well. So just to kind of give everybody an update. These maps are in hard copy as well, just so everybody is aware, along with the hard copy survey. If people can't fill them online, they are located at the township main office. If you come on in, we'll give you a copy of the survey to fill out, and then also some hard copy maps just to take along with you so you can see what's kind of going on out there. We do also have them at the Derby Community Center, the Kemble Arena, and then also the Shallow Lake Arena outside as well. So there's 2 mailboxes there. One's locked up, so if you put your survey in there, people can't grab it and take it away. The survey does close this week, so we're kind of working our way through that process. So we do have some questions here. So I am going to turn the floor over to some questions right now. This is nice. We'll start off with Elaine and Yui.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
Can you hear me tonight?
Yes, I can hear you tonight.
That's great. Thank you for having this forum. I think it's really important. We talked a lot about last time some issues over speed, dust, and the footings of the trail. And I guess those are really highlights, but with specifics, the footings of the trail and the maintenance that seems to fall on the ATV groups seems spotty and poorly executed. And the tunneling seems to be pretty quickly happening after they put any kind of aggregate down. We're talking from Shallow Lake kind of to Owen Sound. And the equipment, once they do put the aggregate down, does seem to be just a grader, and then they put heavy stone or light stone on top of that. It just doesn't last, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of a roller that you see kind of when they do pavement on roads, to really settle this in. And then of course the ATVs start up and it's all for nothing, it seems. So I just wondered about accountability since the township, if I'm not mistaken, owns the trail. My husband was saying how, he'll ask a question, but I don't want to steal his thunder, but he says, quality assurance or some kind of checking on the schedule, after these folks have gone and done their small maintenance, that they could be. Okay, you go.
Steve, just be fast. Like you have the visually impaired sign on the trail, but you have a pylon over a great big hole, and I don't have a guide dog anymore. You have a 4x4 on the ground marking an erosion difficulty near a culvert, and there's a hole in the bridge. So it just seems like a contradictory. And guess what, guys? There's also visually impaired people walking here. So that's kind of a contradictory, and I think there should be a quality assurance set by Georgian Bluffs, and that the user groups have to at least abide by the quality assurance, because really, people have pointed these things out to me. I haven't found them on my own. So I just don't feel welcome and safe on there, but I won't say any more about it. I just think you should have a quality assurance standard to begin with. up there.
I hope you're there.
Yes, I am here. I'm just taking lots of notes as everybody
Okay.
is talking. So if you don't hear me, I do apologize. I am trying to write down as quick as I can. I'm not the
Oh,
fastest
that's
writer
so.
for here, so I
That's
do
totally
apologize.
no
That's
problem. It's, because we have unstable internet. Sometimes you think, oh no, we've said all this and there's no one there.
Oh no. So
But I also wanted to just have a couple more brief notes about the trail, because we do use the trail every day. We live right beside it. Of course, the dust is an issue. Of course, the speed. But we also were wondering about the age of the riders. Some of these ATV riders seem to be quite young, and there's not enough. I don't think there's any kind of manpower out there to check on these things. And of course, because they're young, they don't understand the kind of vehicle versus cyclist or pedestrian that, this is a problem, and they're screaming past us, and you're practically jumping out of your skin or into the rhubarb kind of thing, and it's just kind of a recipe for really not good things happening. And so I don't. So my question is, I guess, about age of these riders and allowance of young people on these things. And the other final thing is, now I'm not sure if you guys talk to Grey County Roads, but where 17 meets 17A, which is the Ben Allen tract to the ridge there, and then crossing that major 17A, they can't see you, those cars coming up over the knoll. My husband has to literally put his ear almost to the ground to hear before he crosses. And I wondered about the township component talking to the county about a solar flashing light there that would just, let these oncoming cars know. Like, I think Ron Hilston might have approached these guys about this, but he's got a bird's eye view up there, and he can see, that this isn't a recipe also for not a good situation. So anyway, those are my comments, and thank you.
no problem. Those are some great comments there. In regards to the Grey County component, I will reach out to Grey County tomorrow just to see what we can do for sightlines and some kind of other items there too from a traffic safety point of view. So I will reach out to Grey County on that component there. In regards to the trail maintenance and stuff like that, staff are going to be walking the area. They've been walking it for the last couple of days here, just kind of doing inventory control out there, seeing what kind of maintenance is done, and we're going to try to get some scheduled maintenance out there in the next hopefully in the next couple of weeks here, try to get it cleaned back up, and then we'll get it ready for the winter time too. So we'll get those potholes filled in properly with some granulars. We'll be applying some dust suppression on top just so the dust isn't kind of killing everybody here. So there is a little bit of work there that we will be doing over the next couple weeks here, just so as everybody aware. Also, another big thing, like you said too, is signage. We are looking at the signage. What are we allowed to post on those trails? I know the Snowmobile Club does post speed limits on the trails during the winter season. It's something that we're kind of considering, but at the same point too, we're going to be working with all these user groups that do use the trail to figure out what is the best solutions out there for wayfind signage, stuff like that. So once again, thank you very much on those comments, and we will be definitely making sure that is part of our number one priority, because that is what I heard in the last public meeting is dust, speed, signs, all that kind of stuff as well. So that's something that we'll be taking consideration big time here.
Could I just also a quick note about the signage, the multi-use signage that's at each concession. It does say caution for pedestrians, but I think there almost needs to be a second large sign that says must yield to pedestrians and cyclists, because I see that in other trails, like I think further down the line. And I think that these older signs are just, they read that I don't know how much good signs do anymore, but I think that a big yellow sign that says must yield to pedestrians, I don't know, maybe it would help.
Okay, thank you very much for the feedback there. We will look into that consideration on as well.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. I am going to put you guys on mute as we go to the next person that's doing the talking there. So if you do have any questions, please raise your hand and we can kind of go through that process for you to speak some more. I'm going to put the floor over to Mr. Mike Angel next. Mike, I don't know if you're still on mute. I didn't know if you had any comments or questions you wanted to ask at this time.
Yeah, can you hear me now there? Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Mike.
Sorry, yeah, double muted. Yeah, so I was just curious, how many kilometers of ATV trails are posted within that map that you guys had up there earlier?
So what do you mean by posted?
Like just within you're showing as ATV trails within Georgian Bluffs.
So that is the map was provided to us by the South Bruce ATV Club.
Okay.
And that's the website that provided us, the group there provided us with the mapping of what they have for ATV trails within the township.
Okay.
So those are the only trails that we are aware of. We do know a lot of ATVers do use the roads within the township limits, and they are permitted on the roads, right?
Yeah.
As per the Highway Traffic Act, and they would obey the speed limits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you are going to be on the ATV trails within that are managed by the South Bruce ATV Club, you would have to sign up and make sure you get a permit with them as well, because they do use the money from the permits, from my understanding, to do trail maintenance and upgrades to their trail facilities as well.
Yeah, no, I'm actually a director on the ATV club there, so yeah, I understand that. I'm just curious to whether there was any other trails or road allowances there, but so basically that's just our map unbranded then, eh?
Yeah, that's correct. It's just right now, it's just there to show everybody that this is another trail system that's out there. Once I do get all these comments back, I will be sitting down with the South Bruce ATV Club to find out alternate routes for other unopened right of ways within the township that are not within the NEC territory, to kind of come up with a better, some more spots for everybody to use their ATVs and be not too impactful as well. So
I noticed on the walk-in map too, is there any designated parking areas for the, I know that we put the expansion in the one there at Ben Allen, and it's fairly well used on the weekends and a lot of days there. But I live out on the end of Girl Guide Road here, and a lot of the time I'm coming out and there's 3 or 4 vehicles coming home to my house, and the road's half blocked by walkers parking on the side of the trail. And then so it's just kind of creating a bit of congestion here, and it's only like not even a secondary road to begin with, right? So be good to have some kind of posting of where parking is permitted along those sides, because when we're doing a bit of agricultural work and hauling farming equipment down the road, it makes pretty tight quarters for other campers or boats or recreational, anything for for what we're living here at the end of the road.
Yeah, so that was brought up by the Bruce Trail Network at the last public meeting, looking at more potential spots for parking for people that are using the trail system to park at those locations and other than being on the roadway. So that was a comment we did receive from Mr. Savage there last week. So we did take that down as well. So we were going to be sitting down with everybody, as well as was one of our comments, to see if there is opportunities for us to find spots where we could, enhance parking features within, so that people are off the right of way, so that we can have farm equipment use the roads the way they're intended for, to get stuff up and down the road and people driving accordingly as well.
Yeah, because it does create blind spots for the bikers, ATVers, all that stuff, and as far as that safety aspects there. As far as Elaine's comments there too on that one Ben Allen corner, it is a fairly dangerous corner, and that's a great suggestion as far as putting some side of indicating flashing light there for that you could press on the way by or when you are crossing to notify the vehicles when you are ready to cross the road there. So other than that, that's all I had. For walking trails in the NEC and all that stuff, how many kilometers of walking trails do you guys have?
Just with all the trails I've kind of mentioned here that are third party and all that, the only trail that the township does own is the rail trail. Everything else has been through Bruce Conservation or Bruce Trails, the Conservation Authority Trail Networks, all that. So through there's roughly about, I believe it's about 165 kilometers of trails in that NEC top end in Keppel.
Okay. Has there been any consideration to ever actually creating some sort of permitting for the biking and the walking users to, like, I know that we have put some money into the maintenance of the trails, but as we've seen and understand that it's not the best to stand up, and until we get kind of a locked in commitment, we're going to be kind of careful with our spending. We are willing to contribute to the maintenance, and my father, he does quite a bit of grading out on the trail, but like you say, the hard rains and water and the available product able to put down, it's not going to withstand with the all the traffic. And but we're looking for a commitment, but we're the ones that are paying for a pass to travel this. And if I go to Sauble Beach or take my kids or family to Sauble Beach, it costs me $15 a day to park. So us as a taxpayer and locals here, I think we should be getting a kickback from some of these out of territorial users, right?
No, that's a good point. I'm gonna write that one down here on the list. Is there anything else, Mr. Angel?
Nothing else. If you guys did and like us, we would like to participate in some of those inspections on the trails as well, because we are equipping ourselves to help set these things up for a longer last and get a kind of a team commitment and contribution to them. So you can reach out to myself or the South Bruce Peninsula ATV Club, and we'll be for sure to be present for as far as the trail maintenance and inspections there to get them back up to par because of these heavy rains and the logging traffic and stuff like that that's been kind of contributing to some of these divots within the rail trail.
No, that's a very good point there. I will make sure that we include you guys when we do these inspections. The thing too is with the maintenance there, I feel from a township point of view that, we would like to help out as much as we can too, right? Because it is a township asset and we would like to, go that way as well. So I know there's stuff where we can get better bang for our buck through our tenders processes that we do have in the township. So that would make life a bit easier for, material to be put on the rail trail, like dust suppression and stuff like that. So there's stuff like that we can work on. I know that brushing was a huge topic last public meeting as well. We do have the excavator with the brush head going down from Parkhead working its way to Shallow Lake. We did have a lot of sightline issues there with farmer field entrances that are coming across the trail because people weren't paying attention that a tractor was coming across to go to the next farm to do some farm work and all that. So we did do some signage along that segment of road there just to kind of, for that section of trail there, to warn people that, there's tractor crossings there for farm tractors coming across, combine, stuff like that, because that's the way they access those farms that have always been accessing them that way for the last 20 plus years, right? So that's kind of stuff that we'll be looking to work with everybody as well, just to, get more of that user educational awareness component there as well, right?
Yeah. The only other thing that I think would be a good improvement too, I know obviously it's tough to manage waste and littering, but if we do put something in there and those newer style waste bins that actually, only let that pop can or plastic bottle size beverage container go through in there for like a recyclable, would be good to maybe set those up at some of those key intersections where they are more high traffic with the ATVers and walkers, just to have them as a routine pick up and give people a place to store their litter versus finding it in the ditch there as we're doing our trail cleanups.
No, that's a good point as well. We'll make sure that we add that to our 2022 budget request. And it's that one there is also a request that we do get at the parks now, that we have a lot of people coming up from the cities to see our parks and view the views that we have in Georgia Bluffs here. So that one there, that's a simple one for us to kind of achieve and get going there, and we can have a scheduled maintenance and pick up on it as well. All right. Is there any other question? All right.
That's it for me.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to move down to the next person there. So I'm going to meet you again there, Mike. All right, I'm going to move to Clark and Ann Schneider next on my my list here for speaking.
Good evening, Steve. First, I'd like to thank you for printing off the hard copy of the maps. It made it so much easier to look at it in detail in terms of where the various trails are, etc. In doing that, I'm going to bring up something that I brought up to the Georgian Bluff staff for a number of years. Concession 24, the far east end of it, it does not join the range road. It falls off the escarpment. We are at the end of that dead end road. It has been a dead end road forever. And the Georgian Bluffs maps seem to always show that it is a continuous road. And we've been out at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to pull people out of the ditch because they read the wrong map. So could you make a correction on that, please?
Yes, I will make sure that gets corrected there. The road network that we do have provided on these maps is provided by Ontario's geospatial hub there. So I will make sure I send up an update to them as well to say, hey, this is a dead end. We'll take it off the master Ontario network as well.
Great. A comment on the walking trails map. We've been walking the trails in North Keppel for 40 plus years. And we talk to people. We talk to people who are on the trail, who are parking there and either finishing or beginning. And these people come from all over, but they come for the Bruce Trail. And I think we've got a gem here with respect to attracting people. And it's not clear on the map at all which is the complete Bruce Trail network. As a matter of fact, I see some which is Bruce Trail that is not marked on the map. I think a partnership with the Bruce Trail Conservancy would be fantastic for the municipality. And I'd speak a bit to what Mike said in terms of maintenance and whether you've ever considered a permit for walking use. The Bruce Trail Conservancy, they have a membership. They use that membership for trail upgrades. And they have a terrific group of volunteers who spend hours and hours and hours maintaining the walking trails and upgrading them. Doesn't cost the municipality a cent. It could be a wonderful relationship and continued wonderful relationship with the municipality, keeping this beautiful trail system in top-notch form. And I would really recommend, as you go forward in the future, to look at how that can be expanded in terms of the municipality Bruce Trail relationship.
All right. Well, thank you for the comments. We did have the Bruce Trail group show up in the later portions of our first public meeting. We did have some more continued conversations with them the following day as well, and they're both sides of the township and the Bruce Trail are willing to work with each other to find parking spots and also to look at, having that partnership to kind of go forward, as you were alluding to earlier here. So it is something in the works we are kind of working with. So it is, once again, thank you very much for bringing it as well.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other questions, Mr. and Mrs. Schneider?
That's all for now. I was just bringing up questions related to the map specifically.
Okay. I'm going to move down to the next person here on my list who has their hand up. It would be Bill. If you can unmute yourself, then your floor is yours.
Yeah, just listening in here. I'm a walker and an ATVer, and we hear a lot of stuff. A lot of people are always pointing at ATVs at being some of the problems on the trail. Unfortunately, that's not fully true all the time. I slow down, I move over, I stop, depending on if it's a horse rider coming, I'll slow right down. Some cases I'll stop and let them pass. Depends what they have did themselves before I even get to them. But I found that some of the walkers out on that trail are just as bad as some of the ATVs that are flying by you. They will not move over. They don't care to move over. So they expect you to go out and around them because of the stand there. They won't even move. They won't acknowledge that you slow down. They look at you like you're on their trail. It's unfortunate that everybody can't get along, and there's always bad apples on every side of the fence because there's a lot of good people out there that walk, ride horses, ATV, that, they're respecting everybody else. We're all there to use the trails and enjoy our countryside. But the biggest thing I'm seeing, there's a lot of garbage. There's dogs running loose while they're out walking. And dogs running loose are terrible things for ATVers because they'll come after you, they'll nip at you, they'll run in front of you. Like, people got to remember their dogs are supposed to be on a leash. And there's not only ATVs out there that have wheels, there's mobility scooters using our trails as well. And the guys I've met on them are great. They're fantastic. Some of them had trouble. We stop, we help. But not everybody do that. I've seen people just ignore the guy that was on it that could have used some help. And, everybody has to help everybody and respect everybody else. I'm really getting tired of being pointed at as the problem on the trail. Losing trails because apparently we damaged them. And it wasn't us. It's oversized vehicles like pickup trucks that have been modified for mud running, using trails that they're not supposed to be. There's some of the trails are used by tractors and stuff, getting to farm fields, are up to their property to log. And, it always seems to be pointed, it's ATVers. ATVers are damaging it. It's not always us. And I've been in this meeting that you had there, I think it was last year, year before, with this trail meeting. Nothing ever seemed to come of it. Then all of a sudden we get blindsided and lose trails. And which is very unfortunate. If our council doesn't want to listen to people that use the trails and not even, listen first before you make decisions, or have a decision made before it even comes up, just because you don't want us using ATV trails in our township, maybe they shouldn't be a council member. You got to be open if you're going to work in them positions, and some of ours are not. And, that's my biggest comments. Yeah, trails are taking abuse. Some TLC would be great. But, I've been on worse. And, I've snowmobiled for years. I'm ATVing, I walk, I ski. I like being outdoors. So I don't want to lose trails to any aspect of my life that I enjoy doing.
Okay, well, thank you for the comments there, Bill. In regards to some of the comments there, this process here is, I'm going to be making sure that I do sit down with everybody to come up with a win-win scenario versus winners versus losers. I don't like to have that kind of scenario. I like to make sure everybody is a winner to, enjoy the outdoors. And that's what we're here for, is to find that common ground. What's our next steps to making sure that everybody can enjoy what Georgian Bluffs has to offer for the views, the trail system, stuff like that. So that's something that I'm trying to work with. I know the master plan for the rec and trail stuff, some of the comments in there we're not really taking in consideration. We are going to be taking that stuff into consideration. We're taking that report back with us here with all the comments from the survey that will be ending here on Friday at 4:30. The last kind of comment there will be attaching that with our information when we do sit down with these user groups of the ATV groups, the Bruce Trail, the Grace Sawwolves, all those people that do have the different trail networks within our system, to see what we can do to make a more enhanced approach to this. So I do thank you for the comments in here. So that's stuff I'm glad to hear about, that I kind of seen what's going on, so that I can really kind of dive in a bit more and see where we can, improve some services as well. All right, well, I'm going to go on to the next comments here, or next questions. Be Greg Walker. If you can unmute yourself, that'd be fantastic.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Greg. Yeah, I can hear you.
I really appreciate the collaborative approach here. And I just want to dwell on a little bit of the heritage associated with these trails. I'm a younger person. I'm under 40 years old here. And I've had a family here that have utilized these trails since they were created. There's a significant historical value to me to be able to use these trails. I've been doing it for numerous years now. My great-grandfathers actually used these trails for motorized vehicles, walking, hiking, skiing, etc. And the reason why those trails were even put into place, the numerous amount of them that are used today by motorized vehicles, are because of those grandfathers that stepped up to the plate and they made those trails so nice that you could essentially utilize them for potentially walking on them. Back in the day, I remember 10 years ago, you couldn't have walked on a numerous amount of those trails to begin with until a lot of volunteers stepped forward and came together and made those trails so that you could utilize them, collaboratively with other contributors. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could get a horse down them, you could walk on them, you could get a scooter on them. Like, these are trails. They're meant to be dusty. They're meant to be a little rough in places. They're not a sidewalk, and from my opinion. And I re-enjoy them for the way that they are and the way that our heritage has brought them there. So it's really important to us to leave them that way, and we're more than welcome to let other people utilize the trails, and I really appreciate it. And I love seeing other people out there because it's great for the community. But at the end of the day, it's a trail, and we're gonna have to work together to all be on the same page.
Thank you, Greg. That was some good comments there, and I did note quite a bit there down too. It's good to hear the comments today. This is eye-opening for some items here that I wish were brought to our attention earlier. But like I said, we'll try to work with everybody to move us forward and all that. There's a couple of comments that I've received through the email here. I'm just going to kind of sneak through them real quickly. A couple concerns on some trail use here in regards to dust suppression, stuff like that. Yeah, we'll be looking into that for sure on the dust suppression component there. Working with those groups to make sure that we can go that route there. I do see George and Alana Angel has their hand up, so I'm going to put the floor to them. So if you guys can unmute yourself, and the floor is yours.
Yes, Steve, how are you doing?
Not bad, George. How are you today?
Doing good. Just a bunch of things actually, because I'm involved with the South Bruce Peninsula ATV Club. I'm a life member, and we've worked hard to bring tourism to this area. Maybe we brought too much, and maybe we're going to have to slow it down a bit. But just some comments. I'd like to agree with Elaine. I believe her last name is Davison. I knew her as Elaine Davison 50 years ago. The young riders on two-wheeled dirt bikes. Today, I was leaving my son's place at the end of Girl Guide Road, and all of a sudden, 4 or 5 of them come ripping down there, and away they went. That's a bylaw officer situation that we could deal with. The dust on the trail. Ron Hillston called me. Ron calls me every year, and I did put some dust retard on the trail at his place, plus a couple other spots, and obviously it wasn't enough to, it wears off and gets blown to the dust, I guess. I don't know. Staging areas. Ron Savage and I are good friends. We worked together for 35 years or whatever.
Bruce Trail.
He's with the Bruce Trail, of course, The ATV Club paid for the staging area at Ben Allen. And, I've never seen a rate full, but I've seen a lot of vehicles there. And my son Mike mentioned that, end of Girl Guide Road, I've had to ask people, I didn't tell them, I asked them not to park, because when the school bus comes down there, it has to turn around somewhere. And, these buses are big, they're cumbersome. Somebody's going to get yellow paint on their nice vehicle. So I think they should, that's a good point to really emphasize that you're going to park there, and hopefully you've got a You know, you're from Georgian Bluffs, whatever. We have a lot of complaints from people in bicycles and joggers, and I've never ever seen spandex clearing trails. That's just maybe a nasty comment, but the dog walkers, we do cleanups on the trails, and oh sure, they stop and pick it up, and they put it in the baggie, and then they pretend that they're David and Goliath, and they wing it off into the bush. So we have to clean up, and the ATV club does. They clean up. We do a lot. As far as the ATV club, we've donated well over $10,000 in the past year to local clubs, be it the breakfast clubs for 6 different schools in the area, $500 each. Chapman House, almost $4,000. Salvation Army, bunch of money. And just on not a lighter note, because the guy was in distress, riding through Shell Lake, there's a gentleman on a mobility wheelchair, and he was in trouble. He had an oxygen tank, his chair ran out of hydro, whatever you want to call it, battery, and towed him home. His wife was very upset. I said, don't shoot the messenger. I just brought your husband home. Because ATVers are out there, and we look after the trails. We maintain the trails. We have no bad feelings out there. So just a little story that, did happen. And I'm sure the gentleman was really thankful. Other than his wife wasn't very happy, but other than that, keep up the good work, Steve, and hopefully we can work this all out, because the ATV Club is willing to help with a lot of stuff on the trails. And there's a lot of users out there that don't do a lot to help with the trails.
All right, thank you very much, George. That was great. I got some more information there. I wrote it down. Yeah, I can definitely, for the young riders there, the township has hired a bylaw company that is used in South Bruce Peninsula. They do monitor the trail system there for young driver or young individuals as well, and they're also kind of looking after some other areas where some other misappropriate uses are being done, and then also some bylaw concerns throughout the township. They are here Friday to Sunday, and then it comes back in-house to our 2 bylaw officers here too. So this is something that we can also improve with on that point there. So I'll definitely make sure we mention about the young riders to the bylaw group there, just to kind of remind them of what's going on there. At this time, I don't know, is there any other questions or comments? That I keep seeing people's hands go up and then they kind of coming through. Oh, hang on, we've got something on the chat here. We'll take a quick boo. Okay, I'm gonna leave that comment there. Surveys, once again, they're located online. They're also located at hard copy at Shell Lake Arena, along with the maps there. They're also located at the Kemble District Arena, which is going to be kind of more of the community center once we start the RFP on that portion there. There's the 2 mailboxes there for people to go from that point there, grab that information. And then also we have down in the Derby Community Center area as well, there is a mailbox there with the hard copy surveys, along with the maps of the 2 maps for walkers and the ATV mapping that is there as well. Snowmobile trail use, it's in the wintertime. If you are looking to use the trails for snowmobile use in the wintertime, please reach out to the local snowmobile club, and then they have their own online mapping that you'll need to verify your information with to make sure the trails are open for you to use, and also it's all you'll have to apply for a permit as well. So I just wanted to remind people about that component there as well. At this time, I mean, I'm going to kind of re-loop myself back on this conversation here. So I just wanted, as we are having lots of people asking questions, some helping out when we're trail maintenance here, but at the same point too, lots of new people coming into the public meeting here. So I'd like to introduce myself again. I'm Steve Dahlmeyer. I'm the Director of Operations here. I do have a team of the staff with me here today to take notes as we're reading through. I have Zach Carson on the team chat here as well. He is the facilities coordinator who's looking after the Parks and Rec component of the trail network as well. So if there's stuff there, he's kind of writing down information as well, taking notes that he's hearing throughout this public session. I also have Hillary, who is our GIS technician there. So if she sees any, if we're hearing any omissions or error concerns on the mapping component there, we'll be making some updates to that. And then I also have Trevor Donald here who's our climate action coordinator. He will be kind of taking notes that down as well and seeing from an environmental component what we can bring to enhance the trails and look at the carbon footprint and all that wonderful stuff as well. We did receive a lot of comments from the different users on usages within the town system, the trail system here, running from permits to signage, dust complaints, all these other stuff here. So there are lots of chats going on in the chat group here as well. So if you do see pop-ups, we do have the maps being posted online here too for people to download if they would like. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. That allows us to kind of answer questions. If you don't want to talk in this kind of form, you can send us an email and we can kind of read the email and kind of condense what's going on there and going from there as well. At this time, I just want to see if there's any other comments or questions from the public here before I kind of go back into putting the maps back on the screen there, just to kind of go a quick overview of the maps within the network system here as well, just to kind of show all the different user groups within the two areas here too. Just so everybody else is aware that has arrived to these meetings, the information that we do receive from the public at these public meetings, along with the survey data, along with the rec and master trails plan as well. We'll be sitting down with the different user groups that are within the township here, just to bring up to speed all the comments and concerns that were raised through the survey and the information as well, but what we can do to enhance it and make more of a better community approach to the whole trail network there. So just so everybody is aware, once these meetings are done, we will be reaching out to those user groups in the next couple of weeks here, sit down with them, going over stuff, and then kind of coming up with a plan of attack, and then having another public meeting there to show the new enhanced trail system, or looking at stuff that we can do to make sure that show what's going on, though, how we're going to approach these concerns and make sure that everybody has the time to enjoy the network systems within the town here. I do see a question that a hand has been raised here in the public forum here, so I am going to be pushing it back over to allowing the floor back to George and Alana Angel here. So the floor is yours, guys.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me, and I appreciate this forum. I just have a question regarding the porta potty. Years ago, the ATV club tried to put a porta potty at Ben Allen. The first one we put there, it was burnt. So we replaced that with our own cost. The second one we put there was stolen. So I really feel it's something that Georgian Bluffs would like to look at, because porta potties are pretty important for us girls. Maybe the fellas have an easier way, but the girls don't. So just, in many locations, Michael, at the end of Girl Guide Road, you've got lots of intersecting points. And I really feel that the lack of porta potties is quite a big issue. So it might be something that we need to add to your list. And thank you very much again for this forum. We've done well.
Thank you very much for that comment. That's a good one to have on the list here as well. So we definitely have added that to our list of growing concerns and how we're going to kind of try to solve that situation out there. So thanks again for all the feedback we have received so far in this meeting. I am going to throw the maps up on the screen. So if I do not see you with your hand up, I do apologize. I will be coming out of those maps once I stop sharing my screen. Then we can kind of go through the comments and concerns as well, or more feedback if we do receive it here. So I am going to share my screen one more time here, kind of deal. So please bear with me. So this map here was provided to us. It is the ATV Trails within the Georgian Bluffs area. This is the trail network that was supplied to us by the South Bruce ATV Club. If you are going to be riding on their trails, please reach out to them for your permits to make sure you guys are enjoying and respecting the trails as they're listed on their mapping as well. Grey County roads are ATV permitted on the county roads here. We do have the blue lines here on the map is the township roads where their ATV trails are within. We do have some off-roading in here as well. The hatched lines are the NEC area, just so everybody is aware. And then we kind of go through it here too and just kind of show what's going on. The red lines here, as you can see, these are provincial highways. That is a no-go for ATVs. They're not permitted on those provincial highways. And then we have the rail trail that does go from Owen Sound to Ben Allen over to Shell Lake, which then connects over to Parkhead and then drives into the Bruce County area as well. Going through here too, you got a lot of the trails within the road network, township roads. ATVs are allowed on the township roads there. They just have to abide by the speed limits that are posted on those roads and then follow the Highway Traffic Act as well. Once again, Grey County roads are all in yellow, so ATV use is permitted with on there and obey the rules of the Highway Traffic Act. Just so everybody is aware, these maps are overlaid on top of the parcel information that we do have at the township. So if there are going to be some errors and omissions, so these are not legal surveys, just so everybody is aware, if you are grabbing the hard copy or downloading them, they're just more meant as a visual diagram of what's kind of out there in the Georgian Bluffs area. Walking trails within the area, we'll start at the top of the township, work our way through. We do have Bruce Trail, Gray Stobble Trails kind of listed on here. They are kind of, a lot of the trails are joined together. They are, some of them, there are omissions and errors. Some of the trails are actually closed down. We found out from our last public meeting from the Bruce Trail Association. So we got some stuff there that we'll be cleaning up on that when we do sit down with that group. As you can see, they are throughout the whole area as well. Lots of other trails throughout the NEC territory. Cobble Beach provide their information on the trail network that they have within their Cobble Beach area. Some of those trails are municipally owned as well, and they do have maintenance on them as well. We do have some trails over towards the Shallow Lake area through the Conservation Authority areas where they're managed by them. And then we also got the down in the bottom end of where the old landfill is, and the Hepworth area is the cross country ski club or the Nordic ski club there. So they have lots of snow ski trails within there, and they're looking for expansions as well down the road from their presentations to council. So there's lots of trails throughout this township that we do have that everybody has different uses on them. Rail trail here, once again, is a multi-use trail from Owen Sound right to Parkhead. NEC territory, we do have some walking trails for the Brook area. Also, and then the Conservation Authority areas managed area portion as well, which then they do tie into the Owen Sound area. We just didn't show the Owen Sound area because we're focusing more on the Georgian Bluffs side of the mapping component here. And then we also have the Inglis Falls components here down here as well. Other private groups are kind of starting to show up with their trail networks they do have on private property that they're willing to start to share that information out there as well, so that they can show where kind of walking trails are out there if people are looking to be more adventurous and down the road here too. At this time, I'm going to open up the floor to comments and questions again to the focus group here. I don't see anything right now. I am going to jump over to the operations email account. You can reach us out at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. That email account is 100% live and active. You can reach out to us after the meetings here too, or any other concerns you do have within the township that relates to the operations side, from Parks and Rec to road maintenance, water main issues, concerns like that. Please feel free to email that email address, and then staff will be monitoring that email throughout the day as well, during the working hours and also on the weekends. All right, so we're going to jump over to that email account, kind of go through there. All right, lots of comments on signage. Once again, here we are receiving, improvement to maybe some wayfinding here. We're also looking at some information boards there, etiquette rules, stuff like that. So those are some comments that we're receiving here in the email account. Trail survey, questions on when is it due by. Trail survey, it's available online, or you can find it at the three arenas or the township office. Hard copies are available there along with the maps. So just if you guys are looking for that, please stop by on those 4 locations, and please feel free to pick them up. I do see a question up on the board here, or a comment, so I'm going to pass the floor back to Bill. Bill, the floor is yours.
Yes, this is a question regarding the one closed trail, the Kimball Mountain Trail. Is there any progress of that reopening? Because it's well, it's for the township, right? So
Yeah, so the Campbell Mountain Trail there is within the NEC territory. It isn't through some of the high sensitive areas there. The township did receive some legal advice on that, which will be part of the report that does go bring back to council as well. There's a lot of stuff there that we'll have to address with the use of that. NEC did do a policy or a staff report with a policy stating that no ATVs or motorized vehicles within the Niagara escarpment area. NEC is the one who's in charge of enforcement within the NEC boundaries on those within that area for the motorized components. The report was passed on, I believe, September of 2020 last year. From my kind of deal, I'm just trying to remember the numbers in my head here. There's so many numbers floating through, but it kind of goes through, like, explains what happened there and all that. So if people are looking for, more information on that, please feel free to reach out to the NEC group. They are answering questions as well in regards to the usage of that segment of road, that unopened right of way that did get closed down. There was some other concerns on that segment of the trail as well, as it was kind of sneaking through in some private property issues there too. So there were some concerns that way as well. So there's stuff there that was more impacting on what was going on. Other thing too is there are, with the whole NEC sensitive area there too, we have to kind of try to protect that environment as best they are, because they are at the provincial level there as well above us. So their bylaws kind of supersede our bylaws within the usage of their designated zone. So when there are issues like that, when it comes to the use of that unopened right away, the NEC bylaw department does get the calls, and they try to come up here as best as they can to deal with the situation at hand if they can catch what's going on.
Yeah, but it is a road allowance. I don't think it was designated as unopened, because the road has always went through.
So the Coles Side Road was as I'm fully aware of it, is designated as an unopened right of way that goes through there. Lots back in the day, people did do a lot of lots and concessions when they were doing survey work throughout that time. A lot of those segments are deemed as unopened right of ways. There's no maintenance on it from the township point of view from a roadway. It doesn't lead up to any properties up in that area that I can find out from in that area, but from the designations that I've seen, it is deemed an unopened right of way within the township.
Because I know there are properties up there, and that's how people were getting up to do their firewood and stuff and logs up in the bush. I know there used to be a cabin up on part of that, and now it's all blocked off, right? So the owners of the property can't even get into their own properties.
All right, well, I'm going to write some more information down here. Thank you very much for bringing that to my attention.
No problem.
All right, so in regards to some other concerns that we've received as well throughout the last public chat as well, is the public awareness campaign that we'll be producing here. So after we do sit down with the different user groups throughout the township here that have trails with our network system or within the township, we will be doing a public release to a media release kind of deal, social media blasts, kind of posting on the township website, trying to draw up some public awareness and show what's going on after all these meetings have concluded. And the meetings with the user groups have concluded as well. So we just want to kind of make sure that people are aware what are the etiquette, stuff like that. So we are receiving some stuff from some of the different user groups of, this is what, snowmobile trail etiquette is. This is stuff like that. So we'll be kind of looking at doing a web page down the road too, to kind of have some that one-stop shop location shopping for everybody to kind of grab information from. So that's going to be coming down the road. In regards to enforcement there too, as I alluded earlier in the public meeting here, is the township has hired a bylaw firm to work Friday nights to Sundays for weekend monitoring of bylaw complaints throughout the township. They are focusing in some of the areas where we do have some complaints and stuff that have been kind of drawn on over the years. So we're kind of focusing in on that with them as well. So if there is a complaint of a bylaw issue through that time, that way we can kind of do the enforcement component that way. In regards to other items there too, we're trying to work our way through some stuff here and try to provide some levels of service to some of the residents in here. At this time, I do apologize. I am going to loop back onto who we are. My name is Steve Dahlmeyer. I am the host of this public forum here. I'm the Director of Operations for the Township of Georgian Bluffs. Lots of people have been kind of sneaking in and out of the meeting here, so it's just to want to make sure everybody is aware who's kind of doing the talking and kind of hosting this public forum here. So we'd like to hear your feedback on any comments or concerns that that could help us with our finalization or bringing more information to the user groups here to kind of solve some of the growing pains or trying to move us forward to having that one big comprehensive group there. I do see a comment from Mike Angel. So Mike, I am going to pass the floor to you.
Hey there, sorry, takes a bit to get off mute. Is there any other, like, so you're representing Georgian Bluffs, right? So you're the owner then of the trails system or just this forum, or like I'm surprised. I'm looking through the guest list here in the attendance, and I don't see any council members.
Yeah, so this form here is for me to grab public feedback from the public. Once we do get all that information and do sit down with the user groups to kind of come up with that comprehensive master, one big document there, we are going to do another public meeting through a council form so that people that do want to be present, they can do it, kind of provide their comments to council at that time as well. Council has been, some of the councilors have been coming and going from the meetings here and in and out, trying to kind of see what's going on, stuff like that. So a lot of it is just for me to gather data of what's going on and then kind of provide it with a staff report at the end of all this to council as well to show what's going on and where we're moving forward on trying to become that one unified group.
Right on, understand. Okay. I know, I was just curious there for the presence there.
No, that's a good comment. We did have some comments from another resident there last week on it. So this is what the intention of this public forum is, and the survey is for me to gather data to kind of be able to present everything to everybody what's going on. I do see another comment or another person with their hand up here. I'm going to pass the floor to you, Greg. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, just really quick. I just wanted to make sure you're aware of the petition associated with the Mountain Lake Trail.
Oh, the Kemble Mountain petition that was signed. Yeah, I am fully aware of that. I do have that information as well. That was sent to me as well from a couple residents of the township. Is there any other comments, Greg, or we're good? All right. So going back into some other items here too, just so we're going to kind of fill into some stuff from the last public meeting, just so everybody is aware of what's going on. Once we do get that trail kind of mastered out what's going on, we do have some questions that were related to trail levels of trail use. So, you know, being easy routes to walk or hard routes like a ski club kind of deal or a downhill ski club. Those are something that we'll be looking at too. There are grants out there for wayfind signage for trails right now that we'll be applying for, that so that we can kind of clearly distinguish what trails are out there, where they're going, stuff like that, so we can kind of have some proper signage out there. There are stuff that we're going through too through this process. There's what else is there? The master plan, the recreation and trails master plan. Yes, that will be in part of this discussion, this overall comprehensive mapping process as well, or the final staff report that does go to council, just so everybody is aware that that wasn't, you know, it was adopted by council late last year. And then we're going to make sure that all those comments from that process was going to be imported into this as well. Greg, I do still see your hand up. Do you have any other comments or feedback?
No further comments.
Okay. All right. So as we continue on with the discussion here, we're getting lots of good comments and feedback here from everybody, and I'm very thankful that you guys are providing this information to me because it does help me out, especially with some of the traffic concerns that we're seeing on some of our right-of-ways there. I will be reaching out to Gray County in the few days here just to see if they can kind of help us out with that Ben Allen corner there, see what their take on the whole situation is as well. So we'll reach out to them. At this time, we're going to kind of go through some other comments that we've received here, just to kind of see what's going on. More questions on the surveys. Yes, we do have the surveys there online, or you can find them at the Campbell Arena, Campbell District Arena. There's 2 mailboxes there with maps and the hard copy survey. Shell Lake Arena has hard copies outside of its building as well of the survey and maps, and same with the Derby Community Center as well. So they're mounted on the buildings kind of deal. Can't miss them. There's some nice mailboxes there full of information there. So people, if you want to grab some information on your way home from work, that is what they're there for. If you can't have access to, or your internet's kind of spotty, that's another good way to kind of fill out your comments and concerns to be heard. So in that time too, town hall does have that information as well. So if you do stop by the municipal offices tomorrow before the survey closes, you can get some hard copy surveys that way and then submit them as well. We will be taking the hard copy surveys as well. If you do have a couple of them, we will kind of take some more information there as well if they are trickling in throughout the week as well next week. All right, at this time, another comment is received here is, how do we get in touch with the operations department? You can call us at the main office number, or you can reach us at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. All right, I see some chats going back and forth between people asking how they can help out for help and do volunteer work for trail maintenance. It's good to see that kind of outreach there, and that's great to see. So that's good to see that people are communicating that way as well. So volunteers are more than welcome to help out with the ATV club, it's like with the snowmobile club. So if there's work to be done, please feel free to reach out to them and see if you guys can help out with the maintenance of these trails. Okay. Well, at this time, I am going to go back onto another loop here. I do want to introduce my operations team that are present here. I've got Zach Carson, who's the facility coordinator, who also looks after the parks and recreation components to the township of Georgian Bluffs. He's on the call with us here today. I do have Trevor Donald, who is the climate action coordinator, who's looking at it from a climate lens, kind of seeing what we can do to enhance some of these runs and stuff like that. I have Brian Anderson here as well. He's the operations coordinator with the township, who's taking notes as well, kind of doing a live stream as we're kind of live on YouTube today. And then we also have Hillary Elliott on the line as well too, who's our GIS technician, who's doing all our GIS work for the mapping and stuff like that as well. So if we do see any omissions and errors, we will get those updated and make sure that we have the maps rectified to the way they should be shown. But just please remember, these maps are not meant for legal surveys. They are just more meant for they're meant for tools to show what's going on out there. They're not a proper, true, accurate portrayal of what's out there. So at this time, I am going to see if there's any more comments or concerns on the floor, and we're going to kind of pass our way to that. At this time, I don't see anything. No hands are up, so we're going to go back to the maps, kind of show what's, again, kind of do a slow map rotation going down and work our way through it. So up on the screen, we have the Niagara Escarpment and Walking Trails map. So the Niagara Escarpment does go through the township of Georgian Bluffs in many different ways. It does go right through the whole heart of the township there. So it does separate almost like a shore road allowances along with that as well. As you can see, there's lots of Bruce and Gray Sobble trails in the top end of Keppel there that do go through the NEC territory. That is permitted use as per their policy. And then we work our way down through the map into the Sarawak area. The Sarawak region does have some trails within it as well. Cobble Beach has provided their information on the trail networks that they have within their area. Working our way across over towards the west of the map here, we do have the Nordic Ski Club showing their trails here, showing what's kind of going from their snow season trails that are there. We do have some Gray Sobble trails showing up on the kind of the approach of within their areas that they manage. Bruce Trail is the pink lines through there, along with the Gray Sobble is the green. Rail Trail here is the multi-use trail that does go through from Owen Sound all the way to Ben Allen, cuts across to Shell Lake, and then comes across out of the Park Head, then continues into the Bruce County area. As you can see, NEC territory is a big swath that does go right through the heart of Georgian Bluffs. We do have trails that do go through the Brook area. We do have some trails over in the Kilsyth area. We do have trails in conservation more mapping areas down in the bottom end of the Gray Road 17 and south kind of component there into the bottom end of Georgian Bluffs. And then we also have the Ingles Falls area too. that kind of just shows you there. Just please remember, these are just overlays. They're meant for visual representation of what's out there. They're not legal documents kind of deal. They're just kind of showing what's out there. And there are errors and omissions on them. So in regards to the ATV trails that were provided to us by the South Bruce ATV Club, these are the trails within the township of Georgian Bluffs. They do continue into the South Bruce Peninsula area. So if you are looking for that, please reach out to their website, as they have other trail maps that show ATV use within their areas as well that they manage. The yellow line is the ATV use permitted within the Erie County roads. The blue line is the ATVs that are the routes that are managed on the township roads by maintained by the South Bruce ATV Club. If there's any concerns that way, as we can see, NEC territory is going through it. Once again, a little bit of swamp. We do have a little bit of an off-road trail here. We do have another little trail in here, and then we got some other trails and roads and stuff like that are going through here. ATV uses the multi-use trail, kind of going from Momentstown across. Red lines on the map are provincial highways. That is not, ATV is not permitted on those provincial highways. So just so everybody is aware. And then you got your other portions when you do go into the Derby area as well, along Gray Roads here as well. And some of the township roads are, if people do drive their ATVs on the township roads, they are to follow the Highway Traffic Act and keep going the way they are controlled. So once again, these are just maps. They are available through this chat group here as well. You can download them. They are 2 PDFs here. They are pretty big at what they are. Once again, they're just a kind of overlay of what was out there for what was provided to us by the different user groups today. So at this time, I wanted to see if there's any other questions or comments or anything else here at the open forum. I know we have kind of gotten through into an hour and a half or hour and 15 minutes into this public meeting, which has been very enlightening for information there. So the one thing we do like to say is thank you to all those different user groups that have provided us the information to provide to all the residents of Georgian Bluffs. The one thing we'd like to say too is here with the public awareness component here is once we do receive all the information and we are completed, the mapping here, the surveys, the public forums, the recreation and master trails plan information, the township will be setting up meetings with the different user groups, the ATV clubs, the hiking trails, the snow clubs, all that stuff, the snowmobile users as well, just to kind of go through their stuff there, just kind of say, okay, here's some concerns and comments we did receive from the public, and how do we kind of approach by moving forward to, have that barrel winner, having an overall group approach to the whole master system. One thing that we do, once we do have those meetings, we do kind of come up with some of our solutions and proposed routes. Those will be kind of then outlined and then put into more of another public forum kind of deal. We'll have another kind of public chat this way, or hopefully with the COVID restrictions, I'm hoping they do lift up in the near future here, that we can kind of have this back at the Shell Lake Arena or the Kemble Arena as well, or the Derby Community Center, just to kind of outline what's going on up there, just so everybody can kind of see the new proposed routes, have some more hard copies out there for everybody to kind of pick up, and then kind of have just to kind of a final last say on it to say, yeah, this is what we want to see, and then we kind of move forward on that. So I do like to say thank you to everybody at the township here that, is providing their comments and feedback to us in these forms. So your information is valuable to us as we help move forward on this process. At this time, we're kind of going through these reviews as well. Our thing that we like to say is our enforcement components there. NEC is within the middle of the township of Georgian Bluff. It is managed by the NEC bylaw officer there. If there are concerns with misappropriate use within the NEC territory, please reach out to the Niagara Escarpment Commission, and they will have their enforcement officer up to kind of take a look and see what's going on there. They are a provincial level kind of policy. They kind of supersede the township policies on regards to use within the NEC territory. So at that time, once again, we will try our best to see what's going on from an enforcement point of view. If there are concerns outside of the NEC territory, that please feel free to reach out to us at the town hall during the working hours, Monday to Friday, and then on Friday to Saturday and Sunday. We do have a bylaw company here that does the enforcement as well, that looks after the township during the weekend there too. So it's a good group of guys there that do work out for us for the bylaw component there. They do a lot more public awareness with the young riders. They do public awareness with some people that you're not using the properties the way they should be intended. So there's a lot of good education components out there as well. So that component there is great there. Other thing too, just so everybody is aware, public survey is closing tomorrow night. Hard copies are still available at the arenas, the 3 arenas, Shell Lake, Kemble Arena, and also the Derby Community Center, along with the mapping as well. And then at the town hall office, we do have the map and surveys there too. So if you guys want to, feel free to stop by the town hall. If you want to have a chat with me, I'll be in the office all day tomorrow as well. Come feel free to provide more comments and feedback to staff that way too. That's another outlet for people to, if they have concerns that they don't want to express during the public feed here today or put in the survey, they can talk to somebody at the office to kind of say, here's some of our concerns. So with that being said, I'd like to kind of move forward going through here as well. At this time, I don't know if there's anybody else has comments or concerns on the forum. No, I do not see any. So we are going to check the operations email account. That's another way of reaching out to us here while we're doing this public meeting, is at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email us there as well. Or you can call us in the morning and then talk to myself or some of my staff that are here present within the conversation group as well. All right, so going through some of here too. Couple items there. We do have seen some of our emails have come in through the operations email in regards to idling of ATVs. That's something that we'll have to check, but I don't think that's more of a bylaw concern there. So we'll be reaching out to our bylaw agency to make sure that idling is kind of to a minimum there. We'll also reach out to the ATV club too, just kind of remind their residents about that component there too. Cyclists there, concerns about not sharing the multi-use trail. Yeah, it's the trail's meant for everybody to use, so we're going to stress, please share and try to follow some rules of etiquette out there as well. Questions in regards to speed limits. There's questions of with speed limits not being posted on the current rail trail system or the township's multi-use trail. It's something that the township is looking into. The township is also going to be looking at some maintenance opportunities here, and then they're going to work with the user groups here too to see how they can help them out with the maintenance as well. As the township does do different tenders for different projects, they do get better. They'll sometimes get some better quality materials, also, better bang for our buck, and then kind of go that way to help out with the assets and making sure that they're in place there. Lots of tree trimming requests coming in along the rail trail. Yes, we do have trail cleanup. Our machine is coming down the rail trail there. We were at the Bond or the Parkhead location first on the rail trail, working our way towards Shell Lake. We did have a lot of incidences where the farm tractors were crossing the rail trail, where people were kind of ripping around on other means of transportation along with cyclists and walkers. Didn't realize there was an actual farm entrance there that came across, so we've kind of put some signage in that place, also cleaned up the sight lines for the farmers to be able to see what's going on to the trail, just to make sure that everybody is being safe when they are kind of going through those locations. Questions on permits. Yes, they should be hoping that people are applying for permits there. If you are using the ATV trails within the township that is managed by the South Bruce ATV Club, you would have a permit with them. If you're riding a snowmobile within the area too, you would reach out to your snowmobile clubs, the local snowmobile clubs, make sure you get their permits, check their websites for daily closure, updated information that way, as they are constantly doing their own thing there. Questions on the garbage within the area. Can we have a couple more garbage cans and a couple benches in certain areas too for, I guess, walkers that are, walking around with some coffee cups, beer cans, and some other four-legged animal byproducts as well. So yes, we'll be looking at definitely some waste recycle bins there as well. Same with some recycling bins, and then we'll make sure we get them scheduled pickups. That's not a problem there. So that's something that we've heard loud and clear. Our thing too is the Ben Allen Crossing. This one came up as well. Yes, we will be reaching out to the Grey County there to see if what they can do to help us out. And that component is a Grey County road, so they would have the jurisdiction over that versus the town. Giant hogweed there too. We have received a couple complaints on the hogweed that are within the rail trail there too. If you do see hogweed on the trail system, please don't touch it. Please contact the township here, and we'll have our weed inspector go out and inspect it, and then do the next steps to remove it, to hire a contractor to remove it safely, and then kind of work our way through there. It is a very dangerous plant. If anybody does come in contact with it, please seek medical assistance right away. And then Other items we are seeing there too is questions came about trails along residential properties there. Yes, we will make sure we reach out to the residents that some of the trails do come right beside their houses there, just to make sure that we have some, if they have concerns and stuff like that, then we'll make sure that we kind of reach out to see what their concerns are as well. Our questions coming through here too is courtesy, respect, and surroundings, making sure people understand that. So we've heard those comments throughout this forum today, as well as last week's forum. Rail trail concerns more here too, is around Shallow Lake area there too. We'll be definitely looking into their signage concerns, stop signs coming off the trails onto the highways. Yes, we'll be looking at the kind of the roads, stuff like that. So we will be looking at seeing what's going to happen there. Another one too. All right, yeah. So then once again, speed limits on the rail trail there, kind of deal, seeing what's going on. We'll look at that with the ATV club. And then we've had some other comments there. Oh, we've got some noise complaints and from a muffler concern points in there too, as loud machines are going out here on a hearing range. And yeah, so there's some concerns with some of the people with some the mufflers on some of the younger ATVers here that are kind of over revving up and making some different high pitched noises there. So we'll have to look at that kind of component from that as well. I see Christy now has her hand up, so I'm going to pass the floor to Christy.
But I'm in another meeting on the computer, so I'm trying to keep up with both. It's not going well. As far as signage goes, since we're signing it as a snowmobile club every year, maybe we can get together about, and I can ask the district about whether we are allowed to put up our signs permanently. Like if you're going to be investing in 50-kilometer-an-hour signs or whatever, we could try to work together that we've already got the signage. So maybe we just put it up on a more permanent basis. And I can ask if we're allowed to do that. But it might be a consideration because we put up stop aheads and stop signs and speed limit signs every year, and then take them down in the spring.
Thank you very much for that information. Thank you very much for that information.
Oh, sorry, hold on. Too many meetings. I might be cutting out too bad. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
anyways, touch base with me.
Yeah, I will reach out to you after that later this week to see what's going on.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. All right. So going back to some of the other comments we've received here as well, just so everybody is brought up to speed, so we're not hiding anything here. Just kind of going through there. Bear with me here. Yeah, public awareness is another big thing too, that we need to make sure that we are showing what's going on these trails, what the rules are, signage there, kind of have some rule advocacy, maybe some entrance signs that we can look at, some wayfinding signs. Those are stuff that was been commented over the last few weeks as well to us at the township too. There's lots of comments being received on that, and we're hearing it loud and clear to, what can we do to slow down stuff and kind of, respect each other out there on those trails. So at this time, I just like to say we're coming up here to the last half hour of this public meeting. I'd like to introduce myself because there's a couple new faces onto this public chat. My name is Steve Dolmeyer. I'm the Director of Operations here at the Township of Georgian Bluffs. I have with me as well, I have Zach Carson, who is the Facilities Coordinator who looks after Parks and Rec within the township. He's on the call here as well, taking down information from residents that are coming through here. I have Trevor Donald here as well. He's the Climate Action Coordinator. He's taking down information kind of from an environmental lens, looking at you know, how we can look at reducing carbon footprints and our items down the road here. Brian Anderson's on the call as well here too. He's taking notes. He's the operations coordinator at the Township of Georgian Bluffs, and he's also doing a live stream for me here today as well. And then I have Hillary Elliott here with me as well, who is the GIS technologist or technician for the Township of Georgian Bluffs, who does all the updates for our mapping within the township and kind of GIS components that way too. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us at operations@georgianbluffs.ca, or you can actually put up your hand in this public chat and have a chat with us here through this process, or you can give us a call at the municipal office in the morning during working hours there too. Extension for myself is 306, so if you do call the municipal office, please hit 306, and then you'll get to my phone there, and then we'll kind of take some more information that way. At this time, I don't see any comments or any feedback from residents here, so I'm going to continue on with the chat here. Public awareness, making sure that we're going to kind of keep the communication channels going with everybody here, and then showing what's going on. So once we do get the information back from these surveys, the public forums, the Rec and Trails Master Plan, we will be going through that with the user groups that have provided information to us within the township here. Once we sit down, have those sit-down chats with everybody, the township and the user groups separately, then we'll all have a master survey, master meeting with all the user groups to kind of finalize that one approach to the whole trail system, and then we'll bring that back to a public forum, have the public look one more review at it, then we'll bring a report to council for council's consideration and adoption of this kind of items of what's going on, where we're kind of looking at an open right of ways and other spots where we can do trails that are not within the INC territory, and then try to make sure that we can have that more of a win-win scenario versus a winner versus a loser kind of scenario. So more of that team collaborative approach is what we're looking here at the township to try to achieve with these forms. So if you have any comments, please feel free to come reach out to us. Enforcement, just so everybody is aware, any motorized use within NEC territory there, you would have to please reach out to the Niagara Escarpment Commission. That is their jurisdiction to enforce their policies on that area within the Township of Georgian Bluffs. So if there's any misuse of the properties or within the misuse of the designation areas within the Niagara Escarpment Plan, please reach out to them, as they would have their enforcement officer deal with this situation. Any other bylaw concerns or issues like that, we do have a company that works Friday to Sunday, and then we also have 2 bylaw officers that work Monday to Friday at the township level as well. So if you have bylaw concerns, please feel free to reach out at us at the town hall, and then we'll make sure we send some reviews out there as well. At this time, I don't see any more comments or questions. I am going to put the maps back on the screen there just to kind of go through them. If you guys want hard copies of the maps, they are located at the four locations here. 3 are at the 3 arenas there: Shell Lake, Campbell District Arena, and also the Derby Community Center, along with the hard copy of the survey. The last location for pickup of these maps are at the township office, which then is open from 9 to 4:30 Monday to Friday. At this time too, if you guys are looking to download the maps, they are found in the chat group here. So if you click on the bubble where the 3 lines or the 2 lines show up beside the hand gesture on this Teams form, you'll be able to go up to the top. You'll see the information there to download the link, and then download the 2 maps that are provided there as well. The maps are for illustration uses only. They are not legal surveys or legal documents. They're just kind of a pictorial of what was provided to us from the different user groups of the trail systems within the Township of Georgian Bluffs. Please be note also too, there could be errors and omissions on some of those trails because some of the data could be older information that was provided to us and it was never really updated before we went live. At this time too, if people are still trying to reach out to us, we do have an email account that everybody could reach out to us, is at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. Please feel free to drop us a comment on any issues you have seen throughout the township that relates to the operations of the township. That includes parks, recreation, trails, sidewalks, roads, water, all that other stuff within the operations department. So if you're going to send information there, we will be able to one of our staff members will be able to review it and see what we can do to help out the situation or look at it to solve the concern. So at this time, I am going to push over to the map. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put your hand up. And then once we come out of the map viewing again, I will go through the whole public comment component there too. So right now I'm going to be sharing my screen and we'll go from there. We'll be starting off with the ATV map. This was provided to us by the South Bruce ATV Club. They were the ones who provided us with the trails that are the ATV trails within the township office. So we'll be kind of working our way that way. The yellow lines are the county roads. Black lines are township roads. The blue line is also ATV routes that are using the township roads on top of the current designation of the roads. The hatch line through the middle of the township is the Niagara escarpment area. So that is managed by the Niagara Escarpment Commission, who will have different jurisdictions on different uses within those properties there. All right, so we'll kind of go through it. There's some pink lines here on the map as well. Those are some off-road unopened right-of-ways that are being used for ATV off-roading there too. We'll be looking more once we do sit down with the ATV club. I'll be looking more over in this area here or over in this kind of shallow area here too, just trying to stay out of the whole NEC territory component. As we keep going down the road here, down the map, we do have some other components coming through here. We do have the rail trail showing up here, which is a multi-use trail, along with also the provincial highways that are not designated as no ATV permitted on those provincial highways. And then you have township roads and the Grey County roads as well too. Going along to the walking trails, just to kind of go through this one more time. We do have the Bruce Trail, the Grey Saddle Trail is kind of showing as well, pink and the green. They're all throughout the NEC territory. They've got many different spots. The Grey Saddle Conservation Authority has different areas where they manage the areas, and then they've got their walking trails that they do maintenance on as well and manage their facilities. We do have the Cobble Beach area here, showing off some trails within that limit there, kind of idea what's going on. And then we have some other road trails and system networks over here. Grey Saddle kind of converting over here. Then we also have the Nordic Ski Club for their cross-country skiing in the wintertime for trails. Trails that keep continuing on. We do have the multi-use trail going from Owen Sound to Ben Allen to Shell Lake to Parkhead. And then we'll continue on with the ventures on this as well. As we continue on, we do have trails within the Kilsyth area, the Derby Center area locations, and then we also have conservation authorities south of Brook. And then we have also the Inglis Falls area where we do have some trail components there. I do see a comment in the group here, so let me bear with it here at this time. Comment has been received to us here. Do you have a plan of adding ATV trails since most of them are roads? Roads aren't the safest place during the summer months and higher traffic in our area. Yeah, with the tourists that are coming through the area here too, that's something that we are looking at with these trail maps. Once we do sit down with the different user groups there, especially with the South Bruce ATV Club, we are going to try to find some alternate off-road routes for people to use, so on open right-of-ways to make sure that they're, being used for what they can use as well. So we'll be sitting down with them and kind of going through that process to find out how we can kind of move them forward and get them some more off-roading trails instead of being on the roads. I get that whole component of being safe. All right, so we have that going on right now. So the trail system, once again, as we continue on. Yeah, so once again, these maps are available through the chat group here. So if you scroll up to the top, you can grab them, download them that way as well. All right, I'm going to unshare my screen here. So at this time, I'm going to see if there's any other questions or comments that are being received here. I know there's some questions that have come in from the public here about, how can other people help that are not ATV or ATV users, walkers and stuff like that, use the trails. That's something that you can go to their website and how to look at there. So that's being Mr. Angel has posted some stuff there as well. So if you guys click on those links there too, please feel free to reach out to them, see if you can help out with them for volunteering work. Lots of trail work to be done. Also the other thing too, just comments as well, so there too. So just to kind of do a quick recap on some stuff here that we have been receiving from various people throughout this evening and over the last few weeks in regards to this is speed limits are a huge concern, speeding up and down the trail, the multi-use trail there, maintenance, stuff like that. We'll be looking at working with those user groups to kind of go through that component there too. looking at some possible spots, locations for washrooms for users to use. That's stuff that will be definitely taken into consideration to see how we can kind of help out the people for instead of using other locations, try to get that cleaned up. We also have some other stuff there too. If you do see young riders that you don't feel are treating the trails with safety and all that, please contact the bylaw department, and we'll have somebody kind of go out there as well. As if we can't get out there, then we'll have also contact OPP to see if we can, if they can assist us. Dust on the trails, yes, we'll be looking at that. We'll be looking at adding that component to our spring maintenance when we do gravel roads within the township, when we do a dust compression on that. So that's something that we'll be looking into to help out with the ATV club too. Staging areas are big comments that are coming in. Same with parking on finding spots where people can do kind of almost public parking lots kind of deal, as a lot of people are parking on the side of the road, causing pinch points for farmers who are using equipment trying to get through farm to farm, stuff like that. And then also safety of, buses kind of turn around there. So we will be reaching out to the bus company next to see if they have any concerns in regards to this as well. Clean up after, animals have been a big topic here too. So the township is looking at those kind of that wayfinding or more signage to remind people to, if you do have a pet that is walking with you on the trails, please make sure you clean up after them. Take the garbage with you and then put it in a bin. We will be looking at implementing some garbage and receptacles at the trail ends there for the 2022 budget. So that's something that we'll be looking at kind of do going forward. Other concerns that have been come through as well as brushing along the rail trail. We'll be looking at kind of continuing our brushing program there. The brushing program will be continuing on some of our other roads as well. So please be patient with us while we try to continue on with there. We did have the Snowmobile Club reach out to us saying if we did want to have their equipment come up to help out with that as well along the trail, where we can reach out to them as well. So we'll be kind of having a sit down conversation with the Snowmobile Club, see what they can do to help us out, and then along with other the different user groups to see what kind of other items we can get going on there. If you are noticing trail abuse being occurred on these trails, please reach out to the township as well, and we'll try to get that solved as rectified as best we can. One thing that we did receive too here as well is trail use. It's one of the things is with some of these trails we've heard from some of the walkers is, it would be nice to have routes that are a simple walk, not a hard terrain walk. So we're looking at implementing some kind of trail network system here that shows you, okay, this trail is more of a double diamond. This is a harder level trail for those more advanced users. So we've been hearing that component come through different channels as well, especially when we were talking with the Great Solid Conservation Authority, listening to that user group make some comments as well about their struggles with other items there with parking and on roads and stuff like that, instead of using proper parking lots and then kind of jumping onto trail locations throughout the area. Garbage, once again, is another thing too. And then make sure everybody picks up blind spots. Going to reach out to the Grey County Transportation Department here in the next few days just to see if they can help us out with some concerns on the Ben Allen area. Permits were a big discussion here as well about the walking trails, trying to figure out, how can we look at doing a permit system where, if you go to Solid Beach to park for the day, it's a $15 to $20 just to use the public beach. This is something that, that money would be put back into, more trail use for trail maintenance to help out and assist there. Other thing too is, excuse me, there are some omissions and concerns on some of the road mapping here too, that we will get that addressed so that we know how people are not following the maps and realizing that they're going to go off into swamps or something like that. So we'll make sure those are updated a little bit better, and then also reach out to the government websites to make sure that they have the most recent data from the township going forward. Other thing too is dust compressions there coming in. We'll be looking into that when we do our thing. Working with the ATV club as well to kind of do a trail inspection, kind of go through, show them some stuff there, see how we can kind of work together to make sure we get some stuff addressed if there are safety concerns there. And then also kind of idea of how we're moving forward. At this time, like I said, I'd like to thank everybody's comments that we have received. They have been some great feedback on some of the items here through the public forums. Also the surveys that have been coming in, and we've been receiving a lot of comments that way too, having this more collaborative approach versus, kind of shutting down trails, more of that kind of approach to working as one group versus just separate entities or separate data silos. So like to say thank you to everybody that's been kind of working with us while we go through this process. I know it's been a long process, and we'll get there sooner than later. So I would like to have everything kind of wrapped up before the year 2022. Questions came in about the environmental components there, emissions, stuff like that. So Trevor will be looking into that kind of that component and providing that information back to us when we do meet with the different user groups there too. So at this time, I am going to open up the floor to if there's any more questions or concerns that are coming in, see if anybody else wants to have a chat or kind of talk about some of our campaign pinch points or what they're seeing from the trail networks, kind of look at that component there. Don't see any other comments at this time. We'll continue on with this process. Kind of going to sneak on to the operations email account here too. So if you see me looking up, that's just because I have the operations email there, and we are seeing, oh, we got some new emails coming in here as well. So we'll kind of take a look at these for a quick second and see what's going on and see if we can help out and kind of follow through. Other thing too is, oh, there's a couple questions on some of the trails that are being used here too. Some of the road signage as well as sign for curves and stuff. Yes, we'll be looking at signing those roads to make sure that they have the appropriate highway signs that are posted on these roads within the township. We will be doing a transportation master study next year as part of the 2022 budget, just to look at all the speed limits within the township. So that's a big comment that just came in here too, along with also some, curve signages and stuff like that, kind of posting those to make sure people are aware how fast to go around the corner when they're using the trails for other uses like cyclists and stuff like that. So that's a good comment that just came in. So that's a good one there. Questions about walkers and cyclists, maybe trying to have more bike lanes within the township. Okay, so that's another good comment that's coming through is cyclists are looking for more trails to be used within there. They're looking for roads to be used for their bike lanes and stuff like that. So that's something that we'll have to look in as a township level to see what we can do for potential bike routes and stuff like that. So that's a good comment that came in here, trying to keep everybody happy. Rail trail survey comments. Yeah, people are all right. All right, yeah, they're looking at different materials being applied to the rail trail versus they're looking at using this question, can we use granite, stone, dust on the rail trail? Something that we can look into, see what the cost of that is, see what the life expectancy is, especially if you're applying it. That's something that the township could look at. We can kind of look and see where we're going to go there. So that's something it's an interesting question, but yeah, we will definitely do our due diligence, look at that one there too. Idling concerns have come in again as well here too, so that's something that we'll have to talk to our bylaw there, but there being idling concerns on a dirt bike. Okay. I guess there's been a lot of potential issues with dirt bikes not paying attention to what's going on up there and potentially almost hitting ATVs. Okay. That one's a good one to see what's going on. So we do have different users now using the roads, the multi-use trail. So we'll definitely have a chat with our bylaw department there and also our on-call bylaw officers on the weekend there to see how we can move that one forward too. So that's an interesting concern to have there. Thank you very much who provide the resident that provide that information to us. That is great to have. Looking at other cycling trails as well. I know more brushing comments have been received as well too. So yeah, so brushing program is a big topic here at the township. We will make sure that we get that rail trail brushed by the end of the year here. I do want to mention to people that it is not a pretty sight when it is being brushed. Please be aware that it does grow back in a couple years. It just doesn't look pretty the first few weeks within it after being freshly cut. So we'll be making sure that we get those trees kind of brushed up. The canopies will be opened up as well too. So that's not a big deal there. So, and then sight lines will be cleaned up for some of those farm trail entrances that are passed on the Shaw Lake side towards Ben Allen. So we're going to be heading that up area next. That would probably be in the next couple of weeks here, and then we'll work our way through there. There's some concerns on some drainage issues there along the trail system, flooding onto the trail system because the culverts are plugged by Mother Nature's favorite creature. Okay, so yeah, we'll get some staff out there to take a look at some of those low-lying culverts that have some dams that have been built in there by our four-legged friend there, the Mr. Beaver. So we'll get that going there. at this time, I'd like to see if there's any other questions from the public forum here. I don't see any there being comments or concerns, so we'll keep going our way through here. If and we're looking at the last email that just came in as well. We're looking at another one here for noise complaint as well. So yeah, those are little things that we will reach out to our bylaw department, see what we can do to solve the situation up there as well. So once again, thank you for the people, the residents that have submitted their comments to us. We are going to once again kind of relay the last final messages here. The survey, the online survey there, if you guys want, you can fill it out online. It is on the township website. It is a live survey that once you fill it out, it's emailed, or the data gets dropped into the township website, and then it gets passed on to myself and the staff here on the call. We've got quite a bit of feedback on that so far. We're getting lots of feedback from the residents there. I'm very happy to see that. Hard copies are available of the survey at 4 locations. The main municipal office there, just outside Springmount. The office hours are 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You can pick up your hard copy survey there, or you can also pick up some hard copy maps there that we do have at the front desk. Our locations for the survey and the maps that are being provided here today, or shown today, are also at the Kemble Arena, the Shallow Lake Arena, and also the Derby Community Center. And those are locations of that information there too. So if you do have a survey, a hard copy survey, and you want to submit it there, please submit it into one of the mailboxes that are located beside each other. It is locked down, so people cannot take the surveys out and then they don't come to us. So we will have the surveys hard copy that way, or you can scan them to us as well and just email them to us at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. At this time, I'd like to keep going through this kind of chat group here. Lots of great comments we've received here over the last few weeks, along with the information that we are getting here. So once we get all this, once the survey officially closes tomorrow night, we will be booking meetings with the different user groups, sitting down with them, going through those comments and concerns that we've received, and then we'll go from there. I do want to take the last 9 minutes here of this public meeting today. If there's any other questions, please feel free to reach out to myself, or if you want to have a chat through this chat group, that's great too. The maps are digitally posted here on the chat group. So if you go to the conversation bubble there, go scroll up to the top, you'll see a link there for our 2 maps. You can download them that way. They are Adobe PDFs. So they are showing what's going on with some of the trails. The one map we do not show up there is the Snowmobile Club. If you are looking for snowmobile information, please reach out to the Snowmobile Club district clubs itself. And as they are updating their maps, as they are, a lot of their road maps or their snowmobile maps are using private property, and we don't want to kind of show what's going on that component. Once again, I'd like to say thank you to all the residents of Georgian Bluffs who have been helping us with the comments and concerns and giving us some positive feedback and some of the other feedback they've been seeing here at the township level, especially when it comes to the trail use here. I know it's been a long process as we've been going through it. Once again, I do want to say thank you for all your comments and feedback. We are taking them very serious here at the township. We are going to be taking it down to those levels, seeing how we can solve some of these issues, see what is the low-hanging fruit to move us forward as we try to become that one cohesive unit with all the outside agencies that do have the different trail groups within the system here. The last couple of nights, we did have some open discussions with Bruce Trail at that. I'd like to say thank you for them for being present. South Bruce ATV Club, thank you for being present tonight. Snowmobile clubs as well, thank you for being present. Even also the walking groups as well, and trail users and Grace Hall being here too. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody for providing their feedback and comments. At this time, I'd like to see if there's any more comments before we hit the last 5 minutes of this public meeting. And if there is not, I'd like to, it's been a very fun time doing this whole project, and we'd like to see it come to an end very shortly. So we're hoping to have this all hopefully set and wrapped up, done by the beginning of November. So at this time, once again, I will throw the maps up on the screen there. If I don't see you, if you have comments or concerns, please put them in the chat group or email us at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. So once again, here are the maps for the areas of spots within the township. So we have the walking trails here showing up here, kind of deal with the groups here. We've got the Bruce Trail group, we got the Gray Sawwell trails, we got some Georgian Bluff walking trails in here, we got rail trails and stuff like that. NEC territory is within the middle of the township of Georgian Bluffs. We do have the pink line showing some trails that go across around the airport area there, working its way into the Keppel Arena area, Keppel area, going down through the conservation or NECs through the middle of here, along with Cobble Beach here on our east coast here. Kind of thank you to the Cobble Beach guys for providing their information as well to us. Cray Sawville Conservation Authority has got many different lots they manage throughout the township, and they have maintained their trails to a level of service that allows people to use their trails and to walk them and be safe within them. We do have the Nordic Ski Club here as well, outside of Hepworth, near the old landfill that was back in the day for the township. That is more meant for the ski clubs at night or during the winter season there, so they're looking for expansion opportunities as well. We do have the multi-use trail that goes from Owen Sound all the way through Ben Allen at Great Road 17, continues on to Shallow Lake, and then goes over to Parkhead. We do have trails that go through the Brook area, also trails within the Sarawak component there too. And then we got trails within this Great Sawville areas here near the Potawatomi area, and then also the Ingles Falls area. Conservation Authority is looking at managing that. And then we have some other trails of conservation over here. And then we do have some other trails that are not shown on the map, but they're closer to the Kilsyth area there too, the Derby Center as well. So once again, these maps are more for illustration uses. So I like to say thank you to the different user groups that did provide this information to us, that we were able to use it and show what's going on out there in the township of Georgian Bluffs. And we'll be switching over to the ATV map here very shortly, kind of working our way through this map here. The ATV route here too, we'll just do a quick view of the whole thing here. As you can see, NEC does swath through the township here in a big swath. We do have the yellow lines are the ATV use within the Grey County road network system. The black lines are also the township roads, which ATVs are allowed to use. They also have to follow the Highway Traffic Act. The red lines here are provincial highways that ATV is not permitted to be on. So those are something that we'll have to remind people about as well. We do have the rail trail that does go through Owen Sound, Ben Allen, Shallow Lake, over to Parkhead, and then continues on into Bruce County. And then we do have some other off-road trails here in the areas as well too. So we'll just kind of do a quick zoom in here to show what's going on, and then we'll work our way through. So at the top end of the Wyerton Airport area there, we do have some trails that go up this way, or usage of ATV usages in here kind of deal, showing what's going on. NEC territories, gravel roads being used for ATV usages in here. This process here, once we do get the feedback from the residents and all that, we will be sitting down with the ATV club to find other off-roading areas like unopened right-of-ways like over here kind of deal that's outside the NEC territory, so that they can have some more enjoyment of off-roading within the township of Georgian Bluffs. Once again, you do have your NEC territory, and then you have the ATV group that go the rail trail, multi-use trail here that goes through from Owen Sound to Parkhead, provincial highways, and then your Grey County roads are in yellow. Township roads are with the black area as well. So it kind of gives everybody what's going on there. Conservation authorities are down in here as well. So overall, this is what the South Bruce Peninsula ATV Club has given to us to use for these purposes for display only. So at this time, we are coming to an end of our public forum here, the second night. And like I said, I'd like to say thank you to everybody who's attended these meetings here and provided their feedback. And we do have one more comment here. I'm going to pass the floor over to George and Alana.
We just wanted to say thank you very much, Steve. It was a great meeting and you've done an amazing job. So thanks very much and keep up the good work. Good night.
Good night. And I'm going to say thank you to my team, because it was mostly a team effort and I can't do a lot of the stuff without my team. So my team was the help to me on this whole process. So once again, I'd like to say thank you to all my team members that have helped me on this. I'd like to say thank you to all the different user groups that have provided me information, and also to everybody else that has been here on the chat. So once again, thank you very much, Georgian Bluffs, for allowing me to host this public forum. And I hope everybody has a wonderful and safe evening tonight. And, be safe. Don't travel too far to your homes. And thank you very much. If you do, feel free, drop us a line at operations@georgianbluffs.ca. Good night, everybody.